time to work.
Michael's poisonous, hit you with a kiss. Drinking venom drip, fang gripping her lip. Michael's poisonous, hit you with a kiss. Drinking venom drip, fang gripping her lip. Hallelujah, yo, cobra moving slow, strike you with the glow, deadly as you know, poison to the touch, rub-a-dub-a-dub, the sea gave up its dead, overflowing cup, Hades extra love, Thanos and Athena, dance with Mama Dia, the voices in the wind, hear now while you listen, Q-sip number Dia, shouldn't mess with this, my girl is poisonous, purple rain and kiss, Vampirilla lives, Elvira that's my chick, Dragon venom drip, fang grip in her lip, Catherine of the wheel, Athena Mama Dia, hot purple triple beamer, sticky icky creeper, the muse dance with Mia, Sibylline Medea, harvesting the dreamers, Michael's poisonous, hit you with a kiss, Dragon venom drip, fang grip in her lip, Michael's poisonous, hit you with a kiss, Dragon venom drip, fang grip in her lip.
Welcome back to Lady Babylon. This is Ammon you tonight, and we have a lot of ground to cover. We have some places to go that you haven't been. I know that it'll be a little bit uncomfortable for you at times, but you'll have to stretch to adapt. Good job. What I want to bring to you, first of all, is a clip tonight. Oh, God. And I want to say thank you to everybody involved with the music and with the videos, with all of the alphabet videos. Those are fantastic. People are pouring in with support for pushing forward. I totally respect that. That takes initiative. I respect that. Tonight, I want to begin with a little clip from Gnostic Informant. I just want to give you a taste. It's a kick in your teeth. Are you ready for some history that you didn't know? Are you ready for some of the dark goodness? Some of that antimatter. Here we go. Chewy, I'm going to have Chewy run this clip right up front. Hit it.
According to Saint Epiphanius, the following passage is from a lost gospel called The Greater Questions of Mary. Jesus took Mary Magdalene aside and brought her to the top of the mountain. Praying, he produced a woman from his side. He began to have sex with her. Then, partaking of his emission, he says, "Eat my flesh and drink my blood. Thus we must do, that we may live." And when Mary was alarmed, she fell to the ground. He raised her up and said to her, "O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt?" And they say that this is the meaning of the gospel. If I have told you earthly things, and you believe not, how shall you believe in the heavenly things? And so, when you see the Son of Man ascending up where he was before, in other words, when you see the emission being partaken of it where it came, and then Christ said, "Except you eat my flesh and drink my blood, one cannot enter the kingdom of heaven." Jesus was asking Mary to drink his semen, and the disciples were disturbed and replied.
All right, so I wanted you to see that ancient source. Fantastic. This is Epiphanius we're talking about. And Epiphanius is going to be preserving for us a whole bunch of the history of early Christianity. And people like to poo-poo him. They like to say, "Oh, Epiphanius, everything you say is wrong and questionable because, it's so disgusting." Now, on the classic side, it's not so disgusting. It's things that they're doing in mystery cults. So it's not shocking and it shouldn't be taken. It should be handled as a source. I was reading Epiphanius today because Gnostic mentioned him. And He says very, very, very clearly, look, the pagans, right? Those Greek authors, as he talks about them as the Greek authors in different fields, historiographers, et cetera, et cetera. It's very sophisticated, good stuff. And he says, hey, these Greek people, they're always calling upon this muse. And this muse is an earthly daimon. And then he differentiates the muse from the Christian daimon, who is called a tyrant. And that Christian power is able to do certain things, blah, 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 says Epiphanius. And then he goes through a list. He goes through a list of all of these different sects. Oh my God, it must be 1,000 of those things. No, it's not 1,000. It's probably, I don't know. I didn't count them, but it's dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens. So a couple hundred at least. Yeah, maybe 100, maybe 100. Anywho, what I want you to notice is one of them has a gospel. One of these Christian groups has a gospel where Jesus takes Mary Magdalene up into the mountain. Oh, God, it's going to go bacchic from here, isn't it? Yes, it is. Don't worry about it. It fits right into the mystery. But what does Mary Magdalene do? She is forcibly the receptacle of the hyma of Jesus. For those of you who thought these things are all made up, I want you to realize they're coming to us right out of the Greek, right out of the Greek. And as people begin to see this, and they begin to say, oh my, there's always that awakening, that moment, that punch in the face, right? You mean Jesus was up in the mountain with Mary Magdalene? It makes sense about why they were calling her prostitute and all that kind of stuff like that. It makes sense. Let's jump head first right into some words tonight. Now at Ammon U tonight, technically we're starting unit 1 because everybody hit the alphabet and we all know it. We all know it. We can say it now if they stop us and make us say the alphabet, walk lines. We can say it. Don't do that though. Here we go in unit 1. And what I want to introduce you to, what is unique to Ammon U that you won't get anywhere else, is I'm going to show you how words work in the hands of the great Greek mother. This is gorgeous. Give me the first one. Give me the first one. Up at the top. Beautiful. Give me the first one. Here we go. Before we get there, I need you to know, for reference sake, because you're going to be dealing with people from the biblical studies side and the religious history, and that the religious history is a little bit better, but the biblical studies side, those people are awful, and they take the reality and they contort it, and they say there's a reality that is ours, the Christian reality, and it's this fairy tale, and then there's paganism and everything else. Right? And the two are not the same thing. They're differentiating between two people walking down the same Roman sidewalk. Oh, God. What lies. We're going to get rid of the first linguistic lie tonight. As you're sitting here at Ammon U and you are entering into the study of ancient Greek, I want you to realize what ancient Greek is. What does this say, Chewy? It says, how many words did ancient Hebrew have? Because the biblical studies people are going to be throwing Hebrew at you. And it's completely irrelevant. Completely. Historically irrelevant. It is a lie. A language of fabrication. How do we know that? Look, how many words did ancient Hebrew have? According to the Gilad Zuckerman, the number of attested biblical Hebrew words is 8,198, of which some 2,000 are hapax legomena. The number of biblical Hebrew roots on which many of these words are based is around 2,000. Okay, bear that in mind. Ready? Hit me with the TLG. This is the Thesaurus Lingua Graecae. It's a program that was put together when I was in graduate school. I had nothing to do with it, right? And it's able to search. You're able to do searches on specific words and find all the examples of where they are in the 4,000 plus authors that we have. Okay. Watch. The number of Greek words in the corpus amounts to 110 million. 110 million. Oh my God, you are so beautiful. Lady Greek, you are so beautiful. 110 million. You can't even fathom how much thinkery has been. Oh, while the number of unique word forms, and this is the one that's really important. I want you to pay attention as future classical philologists. I want you to pay attention. Unique word forms is at 1.6 million. How many did we have in Hebrew? A couple thousand. And of those, there's a lot of place names and whatnot. So you only got a few thousand words that have been left behind, right? Through a fabrication process, have been left behind. It's really unworkable. It's unworkable. What does the Greek have? It's got 1.6 million. Okay, 1.6 million unique words. And you are going to start forming those unique words. And I'm going to show you today how to do that. Are you ready? I'm going to flash up a word. Boom. Historia. Look, people, how is that spelled? Iota, sigma, tau, omicron, rho, iota, alpha. Where is the accent? It's over the iota. It's historia, not historia. Okay, nice. And what is that little? Looks like an open quotation over the iota. That is the rough breathing, which means we're going to add an H sound. Historia. Not historia, but historia. Fantastic. Look at how gorgeous this is now. What does this word mean? I want you to look at this word and mentally, I want you to kill every vowel. What are our vowels here? Iota, omicron, iota, alpha. I want you to kill them. And what do you have left? You have sigma, tau, rho. What is that, you say? That doesn't seem nice. All the vowels are doing in Greek is tuning the bass, right? Tuning that root, tuning it. Watch this. Historia, sigma, tau, rho, str is our root. Go to the next one. And what do we do with that root? First of all, what does the word historia mean? Notice they're going to give you inquiry right up front, right? Think about this. Think about this. When you're reading at the third grade level of the Torah from the Masoretic text that they back translated in 1000, right? Anno Domini. When you're reading at that third grade level, you're not going to be able to get the nuances that you can in the Greek. Watch. Inquiry. Look at under A. Are you ready, people? People, systematic or scientific observation. Oh, is that sexy? Is that sexy? It's not sheep, right? It's sexy. It's not sheep. It's sexy. Oh, God, look at it. Linguistic sexiness. Geometry. It's talking about in relation to geometry. Knowledge obtained or information. Right? What is that science that we're going to be using? It's an attempt to obtain knowledge, baby. It says on the Temple of Apollo, know yourself. These people are all about gnosis. They're all about understanding. And that is what is in the word historia. Now, I tell all of my Greek students, I tell them, when you're looking at a word, most of the time, the overwhelming majority of the time, that word is going to be derived from a verb, from an action. Yeah, not always, but a good majority of the time. Go back to the verb. Always go back to the verb that this word comes from. Next slide, and you'll see where it'll give you a kind of a sense. First of all, what do we have up here? Look what happened to my word. It's like a rabbit It had a whole bunch under the fertility god of ancient Greek. It had a whole bunch of offspring while we were sitting there talking. Look at these. Historeo, right at the top. There, practice people. Historeo. There's your verb. There's your verb. And you want to know what that verb means? It means to ask the oracle your question. Ah, is that gorgeous? Historema. Historeteon. Historia. You like that? Look, as we're going through, what are you noticing as your eyes are moving over these words? Are you noticing the same root? The same root. Look, when we get about halfway down, we have historiografia. What do you think historiografia is? If I tell you graph is the root for writing, historiography, the very idea. Now, that's a pretty good word for the SATs. You know what I mean? That's a pretty good one. That's not one that everybody uses today. And a lot of these Greek words that you're going to come across, the Anglo-Saxon tongue has managed to hijack. Those concepts, you're going to notice they're kind of at a, it's kind of at an elevated level, technically, right? What is historiography? Yes. Oh, love it. And what else do we have? What else do we have here at the bottom? Historian. What is a historian? That's a fact, baby. That's a fact. It's an incident. It's a reality, an occurrence. Really? Oh, that's what our minds going. Now give me some of the English. Oh, sorry. Give me the next one. Here's the verb, people, that we're looking for, and I want you to say it since you're learning the Greek. Spell it out for me. Iota, sigma, tau, omicron, rho, epsilon, omega. Historeo. And you realize, by the way, that 730 people, this is the biggest friggin' Greek class on the planet. It's the biggest ancient Greek class on the planet. And for those of you, because there's been so many orders for the Greek put off for a long time, you can't get these things for a long time. There are avenues. I want you to mingle with the community, the satanic congregation, and I want you to find out how it's possible for you to be able to learn this ancient Greek without the privilege of money. Yeah, I want you to find it. I know there are those of you who are looking. Keep looking, right? Good, fantastic. Historeo. How do we say it? Historeo. And funny thing is, the joke's on all of us because you're never going to see this form because those last two vowels are going to get subsumed into one. They're going to get, that omega is going to suck that epsilon in. Greek vowels, ancient Greek vowels are tuners. They're tuners. And some of them have different powers. And that omega is the ultimate black hole. It will suck in whatever vowel you want to put in there. Lovely. Here's the verb that it comes from. Right? Give me the next one. Now, what happens? You say, well, this looks like a totally different word. Nope, it's not. What is this? Oistras. Excuse me? Oistras. Where did he say estrus? Yes, I did. This is where we get estrus from. But I want you to notice, kill the vowels and that terminal sigma. That terminal sigma is just dressing. It's part of the declension, right? It's just telling you what case it is. This is syntax we're dealing with, baby. We're going to get into syntax and I'll tell you what it is. But it's just dressing for what it's doing in the sentence. It's just telling you, hey, I'm going to be the subject in the sentence, right? So it's not part of the root. What happens when you kill the vowels? You get sigma, tau, rho. Wait a minute. You mean if I modify that front vowel that I can change the word? You're starting to get it. You see how they play? This is music. This is friggin' music. Oxford just did a great bit reclaiming the aulos, that musical instrument, reeded instrument. They did a fantastic job with notation of music. Oh God, those nerds, they're classicists, right? This is the kind of stuff that advances the study, that advances our understanding of history. Theology doesn't do that. Theology is not meant to do that. There is no inquiry in theology. You are not meant to ask a question, right? Hence, hail Satan. Fantastic. Let's go to the next one. Boom. Oistrao. Look, here's another one. Now you can slightly tune it with from the alpha to the epsilon. And what's going to happen? It's going to slightly change its meaning. Yeah. Now, people in different regions will use different vowels, have a propensity to different vowels. Okay, fine. You've got to find a register. You've got to find the place where that word is anchored. And that place is that root, sigma tau rho. Keep thinking sigma tau rho. Another word. This is just, you don't have to memorize any of this. I just want you to follow. Everybody should be following the Greek when it's individual words. I'm going to give you a giant definition here now. Are you ready? I want you to see this. Oistrao, the former and plural. Okay, fine. You don't have to give us all the, look, and they give us the beautiful ones in Theocritus. Oh, God. Look at the oistresa. What does it mean? Properly of the gadfly, the oestrus. It's to sting, to sting. Look at definition number 2, Roman numeral number 2, to go mad and to rage. It's used of io, raging. That's where we get our concept of estrus, frenzy. Frenzy. Is this a sexual frenzy? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, hit me with the next one. Keep them in the zone. Watch this, people. This is the argument. Okay, so let me step back. Having just seen what we're doing, we're working with word bases and we're following words through time. We're following definitions of them, right? I've got some ancient definitions for those that I'm going to bring up. Look what happens here. What have I got here? I've got the verb now that the word Christ is based in. This is the base of Christ and Christing. What is it, dechrio? Now, I told you it's to be stung by that gadfly. And everybody says, oh, the biblical scholar Dan McClellan steps up. And what is his refutation of that? His refutation is, oh, look, he picked the bottom. He picked the bottom definition. You know what? He didn't read. Dan, you didn't read anything between the top and the bottom. And that is not an academic. See, that's not scientific. Because you picked the bottom one? What are you talking about? Do you know how to read these definitions, Dan? You don't. They are marked with the Greek interior to the definition so that you can follow the word as it develops. Something Victorian classical philologists gave us that biblical scholars do not learn. Are you ready? Put your Greek where your mouth is. Put it up there. Blow it up. I want you to look. Look at number, at the end of the first paragraph, to touch the surface of the body. This is really a thing about contact. It's about application. Look at definition, Roman numeral number 1. To rub, anoint with scented unguents is oil. Okay, so you're getting the idea. Application, some kind of unguents. Are unguents drugs? Yes. In antiquity, unguents are pharmaca. Okay. Anything to affect your balance is going to affect the physiological balance, according to the doctors. It's going to be a drug. And look at the third line under Roman numeral number 1. At the end of it, to rub or infect with poison. And they're talking about a peplos. They're talking about a piece of fabric, right? They're talking about a dress, but some kind of clothing into which you have impregnated, you have crioed something. Do we have examples of all of these taking of poisons and putting them into clothing? Yes, a very good example is Heracles. Remember, he's the one who puts on the shirt that's full of the poison. And what happens to him? It kills him. Remember what Medea does. She poisons that peplos that woman wears, and hers bursts into flame. Isn't that cool? And it's the more water you throw on it, it just eats the water. It's like some kind of napalm. Naughty people. Oh God. And so do we have the impregnation of the different strips and bandages and all that kind of stuff? Sure. All of that is there, and all of that is within the definition of Christing. Right? Now, so you can take your biblical Hebrew scholar and you can set him back and he can say something that's absurd, but you cannot tell the difference. That's what this class is for you to be able to tell the difference so that you don't get taken out. Now, I want to say something. I'm going to go ahead and say this. Put down your stylus for a minute. If we were in Rome, we'd be writing with a stylus and a wax tablet. Put down your stylus. And this one Christian guy, he got murdered by all his students because he was doing nasty stuff. But anyway, I want to tell you, today they stabbed him with their stylus. Would that be a terrible way to die? Anywho, things get out of hand. What's going on? There was a guest. I'm not even going to say the dude's name because it's shameful. This is a PSA. This is a public service announcement. Okay. There are people out there who will intellectually lure you into a back alley, and they will do things to your brain that, maybe you didn't realize at the time that it was going on. You can go see a counselor about it. They can talk it out. You know what I mean? But they did things to your brain. I saw this happen. Oh God, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was dark. And it was on Joe Rogan just yesterday, day before. I think it was yesterday is when I saw it. And somebody came on, started talking smack about cuneiform. Now, and it was apparent right away, even to a classicist, a classical philologist. We don't do cuneiform, but as a classical philologist, you have to have a certain exposure. So I took an entire semester with Norman Yoffe, who is one of the world's premier experts on cuneiform. And it's amazing to see an artist at work who actually does the job. It's humbling. I sat there the whole class and I was just humbled by the work. Then to see a guy go on Joe Rogan and to give some kind of, oh God, it always goes back to some kind of profiteering. Yeah, some kind of profiteering. It's amazing. And it makes me feel bad because to see people led down that pathway, oh my God, shame on people. Shame on people for not executing the skill, but claiming the honor. Shame on you people. Anunnaki. You ought to be embarrassed. You ought to be embarrassed. I'll tell him what Anunnaki are. I'll tell him, let the Greeks show him. Shame on you people. You know what they were? They were people who, it says, had great knowledge of the drugs, right? We just did this. And they taught the drugs and how to use it. And the medicine. Isn't that glorious? That's glorious. They had it going on, people. How is it they had so much going on? I don't know. Give me the next one. Here, I want to just give you a variation of all the different forms of. Now you can take your oestrus. Now remember, I said oystromania, right? The mania, the madness that comes from the gadfly's sting, right? From the sting. Here, a whole bunch of different words. I just want you to see them, and they're all based in the oestrus. This is not a tiny concept in antiquity. This thing is all over the place before, during the New Testament, and after. flooding the culture. So for Dan McClellan not to know this, it's only because Dan McClellan does not read ancient Greek. Give me the next one. That's always the weakness. Every biblical scholar, take them back to the source. You can take what I'm giving you. Everybody here tonight, you can take this skill and you can do things to the preachers and the teachers that will, they'll end up holding their hands up like, right? Oh God, it's gorgeous. Look at some of these. You can be mad and passionate. Look, oh, I'm mad, driven by the gadfly. Mad passion, sting to madness. Oh, it's sting. Oh, it hurts. Give me the next one. Bring it. I just want you to see this chorus. Look at the bottom, very bottom line. This is a genuine chorus, right? It's about Bacchus's mother. And why am I bringing in Bacchus? Because you can't have oestrus without Bacchus. You cannot have a Christ without Bacchus. Look at the last line. Oistrethes Dionysoi. Oistrethes Dionysoi. Stung to madness by Dionysus. Next one. I wanted you to see it. I've got it written out. Maybe you don't need to see it so much anymore, but I wanted you to see it. Go ahead. There it is. Remember this phrase, people. Look at this phrase. Omicron, iota, sigma, tau, rho, eta, theta, epsilon, iota, sigma, oistrethes. Yeah. Stung. And there's Dionysoi. There's Dionysus. Okay? It's built into the culture so that when I say it, and I'm giving you that honest information, a guy like Dan McClellan from a back alley, he can come in and he can say, hey, I'm going to get touchy-feely. I'm going to put my hands into your brain and I'm going to touch and feel some theology on you. Yeah, it is. I agree. It's dishonest. At its best, it's dishonest. At its worst, it's something that Desaad would do, or write about at least. It's despicable. How does this stuff get by? I don't know. Where are the watchers? I hope they're not watching. Give me the next one. Oistresis, mad passion. I just want you to see the word next to this, phrenon. Phrenon. And people are going to say, oh my God, corpus hermeticum. Right? When people get all excited and they talk to me about the hermetic corpus, or they want, I want to talk about it, right? If you haven't read that thing in Greek, you haven't gone there. Please, people, please understand, this is our chance at a renaissance, mad passion. Look at the phrenon. That's a medical one, the phrenon. Yeah. Okay, you're engaging your phrenon. Give me the next one. Boom. Boom. Look at this one. This is, look at oistrema, to smart at the gadfly's sting, right? That kintron, that next word there, that's the sting. That's what Paul says. That's his thorn. It's the sting that he's given him. And notice that he says it's the sting in my flesh. In my flesh. You can't stand it, can you? Come here, Timothy. Come here, Timothy. Lydia, give me some boys, says Paul. Nasty Paul the Apostle. Nasty. Bad guy. Hit the next one. Boom. What is this? Oistroboleo. Look, you can strike something with a sting. What is it used of? Of the dart of love. Oistroboleo. Now think about this. How difficult would it be in English to come up with one word that was a striking, stinging dart fired from the God of love? You're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get that in English. No, you're not. Anglo-Saxons don't think like that. Right? Marching through the bogs, baby. Go back to your bogs. Hey, by the way, I wanted to just throw out there really quick. There is a really great project that's being done by a guy who goes by the name Old Boy, Auldboy. And he went to see the purple that they just found in England, right? And everybody's, oh, right, here's the purple. There's more coming, right? There's more prophecy coming. And he's making excellent videos that are historically grounded. And the reason I mention this at Ammon U is because he has gone through the intensive Greek course. Yes. Yeah. Now he's at the intermediate level and he's reading. Yeah, he's reading. And he will tell you, oh God, Greek, it's so mammoth, it's so huge, right? And the more you talk to somebody who's had more and more Greek, the more respect they have for the language. It is endless like this. We're dealing with one root tonight. Can you believe that? Oh God, hit us with the next one, Chewy. Hit us with the next one. Oistrodinatos, driven round and round by the gadfly. Do you feel people like sometimes you got you're oistrodinatic? Right? Think about that word. How are we going to do that in English? My brain is, it's under the influence. You see, it does. It all matters as you're being grown as a child. It all matters what language you're speaking. It matters. Yeah. Look what they got to with Mother Greek. Look what they got to. All of your science. Oh, God. Driven round and round by the gadfly. Give me the next one. I want to keep hitting this. Look, oistrophoros. Now, people, do you see what's happening? Now we're taking multiple roots and we're putting them together. Here, you see the sigma tau rho root because you're killing all the vowels. And then you see the phi rho root. And what is that? That's the bearing root. The verb to bear or to carry is phero. So what is it when you carry the oestrus? You are maddening. You know what, lover? You carry the oestrus. Who is it? Does it say here at the bottom? Look at this name right under here. People who are just learning Greek, sound this out. This is P alpha phi iota eta. Paphie. Paphie. Notice the accents on the iota. Paphie. Now, who is Paphie? That's Paphi and Aphrodite. Wait a minute. The maddening goddess is Aphrodite? What? What do you think we've been doing here? It's Bacchic, and I'm leading you to Aphrodite. That is exactly what the Bacchic cult does. They even had an expression for it. Ace Aphrodite. Straight up to Aphrodite. Love it. Oh, you see, it's Uranian. You didn't realize all of this cult was Uranian, did you? Did you? They had a contest on Thera. Who was more beautiful, Medea or Achilles' mother? And those idiots said it was Achilles' mother. And that's how we know that all Cretans are liars, right? Because everybody knew that was not the answer. Yeah, you had to be there, right? And then Thera blew up. I don't know what happened. Let's go to the next one. What is this? Oistrogenetor. What is that? It is a creator of frenzy. And who is this? Remember, all of this is coming from that bite of the Christ, the gadfly. We are in that situation of Christing. We have that sting. The doctors say you put it right in your eyes. Oh. And who is bringing it? It's Eros, baby. It's Eros. Of course it is. Who's the god of the mysteries, right? Eros. You didn't realize that Eros. Oh, remember, he's got wings. Have you ever seen the devil fly? Have you ever seen the devil fly? He flies on golden wings. Oh, isn't that amazing? You didn't realize that Eros and, oh man. You see, now, if we had that sect that Epiphanius calls the Satanists, and if you don't believe me, go read Epiphanius. If we had that sect of Satanists around, you'd see the exact overlap. between Eros and Lucifer. Who is that most handsome? You know who that is? It's the guy who scrapes his armpits and gives it to the Ewa, to the Eve, Zoe, life baby. Scrapes his armpits? Yeah, I don't know. It's got something. It's got something in it. Hydros, they called it. Love it. Let's go to the next one. Quickly here. Oystromania. Here, finally, here it is. Dan McClellan, that's for you. Look it up. Figure it out. Go to the next one. Oystroplanea. Now watch this, people. I'm just by using the words, right? The bases. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you. I'm going to open up a passage of the Bible that has never been opened before. Dan McClellan can look at this and be humbled. Be humbled. Watch this, people. This is the power of classical philology, baby. Oystroplanea. What is the plan root? The P lambda nu root. That is the wandering root. We get planetes. We get wandering planets. You know what the planets are? They're wanderers. They didn't call them planets. You and I call them planets. When you see Venus, you think to yourself, planet. You don't think wanderer. And I need you to go deep now. Go back to the original. Wandering oestrus. Wandering mania. Causing the wanderings of madness. Are you ready? Are you ready to see how it's in the Bible? Hit it. Hit it. I know we're going to get to the book in just a second. Kumata agria. Thalaseis epafrixonta. What's happening? What is this saying? It says there are some dudes, right? And this is the problem. Jude has been talking about some dudes that are infiltrating. They're Christians who are practicing in a way that he doesn't like, and he calls them, look at that second line, austeris planetae. Austeris planetae. Now, you don't see the mental side of this unless you read ancient Greek texts. And you know there is an association between the madness or ecstasy of prophecy and the wandering of the mind. These are stars. Austeris. Look at that word austeris. Take off kill the vowels. Kill the alpha, kill the epsilon, kill the second epsilon, and it's sigma. And what do you get? Sigma, tau, rho. Anunnaki. What did you think? Yeah, they're friggin' aliens. Seriously? What have we done with the science for the last 200 friggin' years? People. That's like walking into the museum and taking a dump on the history section. What are you doing, dude? Scientific inquiry. Scientific inquiry. Shame on you sellers, you sellouts. Go in the back alleys. That's what you're all about. It's disgusting. Go to the next one. We get an eye on there, but I want to continue on. What did the seventh from Adam? This guy named Enoch. I'm translating. This is what Jude says. What did the seventh from Adam say? Now I want you to notice he's quoting, right? He's quoting, right? Okay. I want you to realize dealing with sources. Right? You're going to be reading Greek and you're going to be reading quotes of other people. When Epiphanius talks about Jesus Christ, who was arrested in public park with a naked boy screaming, "I'm not a trafficker," when he talks about him performing a sexual act on Mary in a mountain as a part of salvation, as a part of drink my hyma, baby, and eat my flesh, as a part of that. It's coming from sources, right? You can track all this stuff. This is not guesswork. It is crime scene investigation. And we have evidence. Give me the next one. Boom. I'm going to get to the lesson. Just give me a second, right? And what's happening? What's happening? Oh my God. These people who are inserting themselves, it says they're inserting themselves, right? And they're following ancient custom. Right? Because they're written about a while ago. It says they're going to be asebes. What is that? That's not having Saba. not having that proper reverence for the gods, right? And what did they do? They took the charita, they took the charita theou, that grace of God, and they transformed it into what? Aselgeia. Give me the next slide. What is the aselgeia that's going on, people? What is it? What do you do when you're aselgic? Licentious or wanton violence. Licentiousness. Yeah, okay. You can do what you want. I got a whole, okay, it's going to be 6 of us and 2 of them. You can do whatever you want to the 2 of them. Okay, we will help and we will assist and we will facilitate. Yeah. And what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Right? Okay. All right. Hit me with the next one. Hit me with the next one, oyster plagues, because I suddenly am stung by the gadfly and driven wild, and I am a Bacchant Christ. I am a Bacchant Christ. The bit of anything, take it down for a minute, Chewy, of anything that I've told you, this will make the biggest splash, because this will drive a wedge into between the false history that's been built up for you, full of this Christian theology, Judeo-Christian monist theology. This will destroy it. The name, the word Christ, it's not a name, it's a title. The word Christ is a drug term. Jesus was a drug guy. We just looked at putting drugs onto cloth. Do you remember the woman who had the issue of blood? What did she do? All she had to do was touch him. All she had to do was touch him. You know why? Because that Christ was Christed, and he was walking around high and full of drugs. They put them on their clothing. Now, some of you say, how stupid is that? Well, some of the sophisticated ones, you could light that stuff on fire, make a little, impression on people. Some of that stuff would be immediately toxic. Oh, fantastic. You know what I do if I'm a priestess and I'm 8 years old and I'm getting up every morning? I'm training to be one of the Medusae. You know what I do? I make lateral cuts in my arms. And then I take a linen bandage and I impregnate it with drugs that I then put over. And those drugs are the ones that we're all taking from the snakes, because that's what they're teaching us to do now, is to handle those snakes. Because if you're a good Christian and you follow Jesus's precise words, you will take up snakes and you'll start drinking death drugs and they won't hurt you. Do you see? It's the real Jesus. It's the real Jesus. Hit the next one. And you can get there through the words. Oistrodes. That's fine. Raging or frantic. Give me the next one. No problem. We're hitting it. Here's the word for star. Aster. And I wanted you to see it. Same root again, people. Same root. Fantastic. Give me the next one. Fantastic. Boom. Boom. Here's Jude. Who do I not want you to be? I don't want you to be like these people. Why? Because they've been practicing this mystery for a long time, and it always ends up in Sodom and Gomorrah. They're using the same methods, right? And what are they doing? They're going after that heteros sarx, right? That other flesh, the other meat. Yeah. And what are they doing? They're providing an example. They're providing an example of that ionic fire, right? That ionic fire. They're going to be subject to decay because they are harnessing the ionic fire. Now, this is the part I told you. There's no Christian who knows what this means. None. Well, I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe there is somewhere who got his Greek in gear or hers and really pushed. I would say hers, but realistically, Bible studies doesn't really encourage. I mean, they do have, I don't know. Yeah. The first thing I noticed about classics was it was majority women in my department. Yeah. And I thought, how nice. Look at this. The women are encouraged to study this, right? Because it doesn't say women submit. It doesn't say that. It's got all sorts of stuff. Look at this thing I found. I've got this word I found for you guys tonight. It's gorgeous. I hadn't seen it before. Keep going. We'll run up to it. This is the word just ekporneo. I've seen this one a lot. To commit fornication, people. What are the people doing? I want you to notice, Dan. I want Dan McClellan here right now. Dan, get over here. Get over here, Dan. That's because you claimed it and didn't rate it. Now let's see. Eporneo, Dan, it means to commit fornication. But it's also idolatry, Dan. Look, and they're pulling your Septuagint there. They're pulling your Septuagint, Dan, as a source. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You didn't realize the mystery was sexual, did you? The very same word. What does fornication mean? That's what a Victorian says to mean sex. Just sex. Sex, baby. Just sex for sex sake. Boom. Temple of Aphrodite, baby. Right? Oh, God. God, sex is bad, right? Yahoo hates sex. Jesus hates sex. Who does Jesus end up with? He ends up with those that he can dominate. He ends up with little kids in a public park. Yeah. What's going on? What's the psychology? Who knows? It's not up to me. I don't care anyway. Right? I do care ultimately, but it's not up to me to decide what was going on in Jesus Christ's head when he was arrested in a public park with a naked kid. Look at the next verse here from Jude. Oh, God. What are they doing in the end? Just look at the last word. What do these people end up doing? They end up blaspheming. They end up blaspheming. And look at this first word on the second line. Miainusin. Everybody spell that out. Mu, iota, alpha, iota, nu, omicron, upsilon, sigma, iota, nu. Miainusin. Accent over the iota. Now, the iota and the alpha are a diphthong. We're about to look at those. Miainusin. You like that? What does it mean to miaino? It means to stain. It means to stain yourself. Do you know what? Now, hang on. Before you start thinking like a Victorian or start thinking like somebody who's, towing some kind of theological line, it literally means to stain. And so in the Greek word itself is that concept, whether or not you put a religious, twist on it or not. The idea of staining is there. And who stains? Not only these people who are practicing this cult, but this form of Christianity, but also those who are giving us the knowledge. You remember the sons of God that came into the daughters of men and Enoch yesterday on Monday. Do you remember those? This is who he's talking about, right? They stain themselves. Yeah, they stain themselves. And what do they end up entering into? They end up entering into blasphemy. Blasphemy. Okay. When Jesus Christ was arrested with that kid, there was an element of blasphemy thrown into his trial. Yeah, if you can call it a trial. Yeah, because, lace days are lace days. People keep asking me about lace days. Remember, don't forget, Julius Caesar was taken captive. He was kidnapped by lace die, the plural. And what did he do? As soon as he got away, he came back and crucified them. Why? Because you crucify traffickers. You crucify them. You crucify them. When I'm saying traffickers, I'm talking about people who exchange children. I'm not talking about the slave trade. The legitimate Mediterranean slave trade is not trafficking. I'm talking about people who show up and abduct your young kids to sell them as sexual objects. That is a lace taste. That is what Jesus is defending himself as not being when he is arrested with that kid. Everybody knows lace die get crucified. They deserve to die that way. They deserve it. You mean people were saying Jesus deserved? Now you understand what the crowd was doing. You understand it was there for, right? Right? Oh, God. I'm sorry. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. We all know this, right? No, we don't. Here's the word I found for you. Perfect timing. Look at this. This is for everybody who just wants something delicious. Are you ready? Inupni astria. Inupni astria. What is that? She who dreams. And it's the title of a book. Look, the person who did this made up this word to talk about, to be, what her story was. Who's this about? It's about she who dreams. I love that. I love that. Look, we've got in English a little phrase, she who dreams. You don't need that. In Greek, you make up one concept. One concept. Oh God, the power is amazing. Give me the next one. Give me the next one. Finally, I don't want to for text wise, I don't want to belabor anything. We've got to jump. But I just want you to notice that second to last line, we got daimonia. We got daimonia. If you start at verse 16, I'm going to translate this for you. The one who, this is Jesus, right? At the end of Mark. The one who believes and is baptized will be saved. The one who doesn't believe will be judged. And for those who believe, there will be signs that they do. In my name, they will cast out demons. They'll speak in new languages. And what else do they do? They'll take up serpents. And when I say take up, I don't just mean lift. I mean, to take up as a practice, to take up as a way of life. They'll take up serpentry, and they'll drink whenever. It says whenever they drink the death inducers, it won't hurt them. That is a true Christian from the mouth of Jesus the Christ himself. Dan McClellan. You do not recognize the Christ as a drug term because you don't read Greek. Dan McClellan, you don't recognize the Christ as the one who drinks the thanasimon, who takes the Christing, and who is resurrected, because you have never done that, Dan. You are uninitiated. Not only are you uninitiated in the mystery, you are uninitiated in ancient Greek. Shame on you for taking glory that's not yours. Go to the next one. Boom. Okay, we're going to jump. Here's the lifting up serpents. Yeah, we got it already. Go to the next one. Here we go, people. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to jump right to the end. Jump right to the, let's see. Oh, I had so much prepared for you people, but I don't want to take up an inordinate amount of time. Let us go. For people who are asking me about the book, again, please ask around. I know if your conditions don't allow you, I know there's ways to get it, right? And the cheapest ways possible. Yes, fantastic. I don't want anybody to be held back because they cannot get a book, right? And thank you for crashing the people at the publisher too. Go, give me that one. Okay, look, there are a couple of very important little paragraphs, little charts that I need you to know as you are reading Unit 1. And I tell people, get your alphabet down. That's what you need. If you've gotten your alphabet down, and if you're able to begin looking at Greek words and pronouncing them, you're in a good spot. But what I want you to do is I want you to read Unit 1, and I want you to try to do those first 5 exercises in Unit 1. And I'm going to walk you through those now. If you've done them, great. If you're going to do them, great. But I want you to notice, I'm going to give you only the stuff that you need. This is the stuff that's going to get us through this specialized training. Are you ready? Look at these diphthongs on the left. What is a diphthong? A diphthong is when you take 2 vowels and you put them together. What vowels are we talking about? Alpha, epsilon, eta, iota, omicron, upsilon, omega. I'll say that one more time. Alpha, epsilon, eta, iota, omicron, upsilon, omega. 7 vowels. Those are the 7 spheres of the cosmos. Wait, what? Those are the 7 spheres of the cosmos. What is cosmos? It is the organization of the universe. It's the organization. Are you ready? The organization has those 7 vowels: alpha, epsilon, eta, iota, omicron, upsilon, omega. Okay, when you combine those together, like the first one that we have is alpha, iota. Alpha, iota. And when you take 2 vowels and they combine into one, they make one noise, right? You go from alpha, iota is a, e, combine them together and you get I. I. Makes a different sound. Epsilon, iota. You have in the epsilon, e in the iota. When you combine them together, a. Okay. And that's what I want. I want you to follow this pronunciation for oi, we. Look at oops. Okay, wait a minute. Look at upsilon iota. And you're going to think that's oo and e, right? So we, something like that. Notice that you get a W sound that starts coming out. Why? Because there's a digamma hiding in that upsilon. You mean a consonant is in there being close with that vowel? Yeah, it happens, right? Oh, love it. We. Hear the W? Upsilon iota is we. Huios is the word for sun. Upsilon, iota, omicron, sigma. Huios. Good. You're going to get vocabulary. Don't worry. So people, focus on this chart. Get all of your diphthongs down so you can pronounce words. You can pronounce words like the words they give you in the example. Look, you've got the first word there. Aether. Aether. See the diphthong I on the front of it? Good. Practice that. Get it down. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. Word roots, I tell you, give me a blow up. Look at this chart at the bottom, this box. Summary of Greek cases. I want you to look at these 5 cases. What are cases? Cases are a part of noun, adjectives. Participles have cases. Yeah. Now, what do you do with a case? Just think about a noun for a minute. And this is where everybody learns this, so don't be embarrassed. A verb is your action. It's the word that's the doing, the jumping, the running, the being. Being is doing too. Yeah. What is a noun? It's, we call it the person, place, or thing. What I want you to know is the nouns are the things that can be doing or can have things done to them. They are the dressing for the verb. Oh, okay. I get it. Watch this. Each of them has cases. What does that mean? It means the end of the word will change, changing its case. And what cases do we have? Do you need to think through this? No. Stop trying to if you get confused. Whenever you get confused in ancient Greek, stop thinking. I tell my students this all the time. Nobody ever trusts me until they get to a point where they understand what it means. Stop thinking. What do you need to know? You need to know these 5 cases. Every noun is going to have 5 cases. The first case is called the nominative. Yeah, that's all I need you to say. Spit that out. How many cases? 5. Okay. Thank you very much. What's the first one? Nominative. What is the first case? Nominative. What is the second? Genitive. Third, dative. Fourth, accusative. What is that 5th type of case that they've? Vocative. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use those first 4 cases all the time. And every once in a while, we're going to use that 5th case. And when we do, I'll make it obvious for you because all we're going to memorize are those first 4. I don't want you memorizing vocatives. I want you memorizing nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, and always in that order. Nominative. Now, I'm going to tell you this once, what each of those is. The nominative case is the subject. That's all I want. I don't want you to think about it. I want you to be able to say, when I yell at you in your face, what is the nominative case? And you will say, it is the subject. What is the genitive case? It is the case of possession. What is the dative case? It's the indirect object. I don't even know what an indirect object is. You say, I don't care. I need you to know that the dative case is an indirect object. Just stop there. What's the accusative? A direct object. Isn't that nice? Nominative, subject, genitive, possession, dative, indirect object, accusative, direct object. That's all I need you to do. The vocative is a case of address, and it's barely used. Okay, so we're not gonna worry about the top four. Next one. Give me the next one. What else do I need you to focus on in chapter 1? These are first declension nouns. Now, what does that mean? What is a declension? Think of a declension as a family or a group of nouns. We're going to have 3 in Greek. We're going to have 3. This is the first, and most of these are feminine. They are feminine. What? You mean nouns can have gender? Yes. Yes. What are the genders that we have in Greek? We have masculine, feminine, neuter. Masculine, feminine, neuter. Masculine, feminine, and neuter. That's all I want you to know. MFN. Are you ready? Here's some feminine ones for you. And what happens? What are these? What is going on in this chart? It's a little dash with a letter or a couple of letters after it. And that little dash is telling you, you can take this and put it on the end of the base of a noun in order to make it that case. For example, the word for soul is psyche. Psyche. You hear the A on the end of it? That's the nominative. Psyche. It's the subject. The soul lives. Right? The soul's the subject. The soul eats worms. The soul is the subject. It's got to end in that eta to tell the person who's reading it, oh, this is the subject, bro. Okay? Look at the one underneath that. Genitive, ace. What happens when you add ace and make psyches? It means of the soul. It's possessive of the soul. The purpose of the soul is blah, blah, blah. The purpose of the soul. Then it's got to be psyches. It's got to end with that eta sigma. What about the dative? It's an eta with a little tiny iota. Everybody see the little tiny iota subscript? What's an iota subscript? An iota subscript is a tiny miniaturized iota that you place underneath the vowel. Oh, and that's a dative. I told you that's the indirect object. Dative, indirect object. How do we translate that in Greek? To, for, or with. You're going to start with those. To, for, or with. To the soul. Psyche. For the soul. Psyche. With the soul. Psyche. How did you do that? I did it with my soul. Psyche. All I have to say is psyche with that ending, and the person knows, oh, this is an indirect object. This is something that it can be an instrument. Wow, fantastic. How'd you do it? I did it with my soul. And then finally, the accusative. Look at the accusative, ain. Look at the accusative, ain. You see the eta nu after the accusative? When you attach that to the word psyche, and it becomes psychein, what does that mean? It means that's being acted on by the verb. I eat the spaghetti. I got to put spaghetti in the accusative case because it is being accused. It's being acted upon by the verb. I kick the ball. The ball is in the accusative case. I love my soul. Oh, that sounds so, doesn't that sound creepy? That sounds like something, what do you call those people, Chewy, who walk around saying you got to love yourself? I don't know. Hippies? I don't know. Go to the next one. Look at this, people. Now here's the second. Oh, wait, go back. In all fairness, I'm sorry. I just did the singular. I want you to notice it says underneath it, it says nominative plural. right? So then you're going to have to add the alpha iota. If you want to say souls as the subject, souls do something, you got to add alpha iota, psychai. So I forgot to tell you, with nouns, we've got a singular form and a plural form. Dog, singular, dogs, plural. Look what we do in English. We add an S. English is a lightly inflected language. Our nouns are going to be lightly declined, right? We've got look what we got. We've got dogs. We add an S and all of a sudden it's plural. Right? Well, the Greek has its own plural endings, right? And you'll see them there. Okay, I want you to be satisfied with that. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. What do you need to know from this? This is the take home. Replay this back to yourself. Here are second declension nouns, and look at their endings. They're different from the first declension, and most of these are masculine or neuter. Masculine or neuter. Typical word, second declension word that you get in your vocabulary is anthropos, the word for human. We get anthropology from it, right? Human. A human in the nominative case is an anthropos. But when we switch to the genitive case and we want to say of the human, we say anthropou, and our accent changes position. Anthropou. Now you don't worry about accents right now. I know people fret over accents, and I'm going to tell you exactly what they told me at California, Berkeley, when I took the intensive course. And for those of you who want to say, "Oh, that's political," that says something political. You morons! I didn't have more than 5 seconds to myself. We went to school for 8 hours a day, came home and did 4 to 6 hours of work for the next day to prep for the next day. Oh, there's no politics. Berkeley is friggin' awesome. Their classics was friggin' awesome. Watch this, people. Look at the endings here. They're going to change, and you're going to be able to look at those endings, say, "Oh, okay, this is how they relay a case to me." Nominative, genitive, dative, accusative. Nominative, genitive, dative, accusative. Hit me with the next one. I just want you to see the words written out. We've only got 2 more of these. I want you to see the words written out. Look at this. Oh, they give you logos. Logos, right? Right up front. Logos. Logos, logu, logoi, logon. Now, these are just examples, right, of noun. The next one is anthropos. There it is. Anthropou, right? You can see how it changes. They're just going to walk you through how these words are going to change. Now, what do you need to do? You need to do exactly what I needed to do. You need to make mental slots for all of these paradigms. All of these ladders of endings that we go through, you should memorize them. What are the feminine endings? A, ace, a, ain. I, own, ice, us. That was both singular and plural I just gave you. And I can do that in my sleep. A, ace, a, ain, I, own, ice, us. You have to get to that point where you can it becomes muscle memory for you. So these charts that I'm showing you, I want you to memorize those endings. I want you to memorize the feminine of the first, the masculine and the neuter of the second. Okay? Masculine and neuter of the second. Give me the next chart. Give me the next chart. Finally, what else does Unit 1 give us? It gives us the definite article, this thing at the top in this box. And you're going to notice, oh, look, it's got nominative. It's also got cases. Nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, singular. And then underneath that, nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, plural. Right? Dog is subject, dog is possession, dog as indirect object, dog as direct object in the singular. And then same thing in the plural. Now look at the feminine. It's going to give you feminine forms, and look at the neuter. It's going to give you neuter forms. And you're going to notice, look at the feminine, for example, it's an eta. And you say, wait a minute, that just looks just like the ending on the first declension nouns. Yes, it does. Right? Look at the genitive. Ace is the ending. Oh, it looks like just like the noun. So you really aren't learning new forms here. You have to memorize this definite article. I want you to do it in this way. I want you to take the masculine column and I want you to go right down. I want you to take the feminine column and go right down, neuter and go right down, masculine, right? Ho, tu, toi, ton. Hoi, ton, tois, tus. I want you to be able to do that. You've got to be able to exercise. Some of you will hate this and you'll say, this is the worst part of Greek. And there are a whole bunch of English boys and girls who agree with you from 100 years ago. Because what would those English do in their classes all day? They would recite these declensions. They would recite the endings of verbs. And you think, what a waste of time. No, no, no. What you're doing is you're programming yourself to be able to function within this heavily inflected language. When I say inflected, I mean the endings of words are going to change. That change will tell you what the word is doing. You, most of my audience, okay, if I'm talking to modern Greeks or something, never mind. But most of you, those of you who speak English as your primary language, you're used to word order, right? Those Anglo-Saxons were like, oh God, how do we make life easy? I know. We'll put everything in order. And the first thing I say has got to be the subject. Then you've got to say the verb. Then you've got to say the direct object, right? We'll do it by word order. That's how we'll tell. I ate the spaghetti. I can't say the spaghetti ate I, because then I'm thinking about spaghetti eating someone, because my stupid English brain is stuck in word order. And it's going to affect everything you do from now on. Greek does not use word order. Think about that for a minute. An ancient Greek passage can spit at you 50 words, and you don't get the main verb until the end of the thing. You don't really know what's going on until the very end. You're just juggling the stuff in your brain. Do you see what I mean? In order to allow you to be able to juggle this, we've got to get the muscle memory. We've got to get the muscle memory down. I need you to memorize the definite article. Okay. What I'm going to do, you take it down, Sherry. What I'm going to do for next week, look, there are 880. This is officially the largest ever ancient Greek class. Largest ever. Right? We should be proud of this, and we should nurture this and get ourselves to the right place. Now, listen to me. If you need a pep talk, if you're not doing this every day, if you're not taking this book that you've got, if you're not looking at Unit 1 for 30 minutes a day, very bare minimum, 30, and you can do this on the toilet. You do it in your car when you're not driving. You can do it, at a restaurant when you're waiting for your beloved to show up. You can do it wherever you've got a few extra minutes, drinking a little bit. Read the vocabulary list and try to pronounce the vocabulary list from Unit 1 over tea with your spouse. Drive them crazy. And they'll look at you like, what? This stuff's crazy, right? But you've got to put in a certain amount of work. I'm going to give you this as a final kind of, inspiration tonight. There is a place that I need to take you. I need to take you to the gym. And if you stop working out, you're not going to make it. You'll fall by the wayside. One of the very earliest instructions that I remember from John Scarborough, my advisor, was that if you stop, it leaks. You can take a professor who's had 50 years of translation, and if that professor stops for a couple of weeks, he or she is going to leak. They're going to leak, because it is not a spoken language. It is specifically a language that we just translate. Unless you are actively working it, you are losing what you have built up. You have to make constant progress. And even if that is just 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, imagine that. If I told you I have a magic pill, maybe this would be our commercial, because we don't have commercials because we're not here for the friggin' money. But if I had a pill for you and I said, if you take this every day, it will grow your brain. Your head will get bigger. People will look at you and be like, damn, what's happening to your head, bro? And it'll be big because it's growing. If I had that pill for you, I do. It's Greek. And your brain doesn't need to get physically bigger. It needs to make more connections. The Greek's going to allow you to do that. Thank you to the 800 some people who are consistently, almost 900. Thank you to the 900 people who are making this officially the biggest class. Somebody write to Guinness. Okay, I taught at university. I taught at a giant university, University of Wisconsin. I'm the only graduate student to ever teach medical terms by myself. When a professor had a maternity leave, right? So I took over the class, and there were hundreds of people in the class. I think we had like 270, something like that. I've been in myth classes where there are where there are 5 teaching assistants, each of us with 120 students, right? I've been in classes of 1,000 people, and I can tell you something. This is the only ancient Greek course with this many people. Look what we did. I want to revel in this, and I want to say, hey, Harvard, watch what happens. Watch what happens when you take out the greed and when people just want to be able to use the instrument. When you free people, this is what happens. Thank you for coming tonight. And we will be on Friday night for a traditional Lady Babylon. And I look forward to bringing you yet one more peeling back of that unreality to show you the beauty of what is. Thank you for coming tonight. Hail Satan.
Something in the wind, lightning hits you near, fried to little bits. Here's Satan in the chorus. Try some, you'll want more. Knock, knock, I'm at the door. Gigi Pennywise, put the twinkle in your eyes. Jesus on the cross, for harming little ones. Don't mess with the kids, Medea, she will come. Witch queen of the dragons, Medea, Mamma Mia. Dreams come true, my dear. She'll knock you on the rear. Put something in your beer. Hot purple, they eat fetus. Bleed out, skin go deeper. Jeepers to the creepers. Smoking sensimilla. Ancient Greek, we read her. Venom from the teeth. Bloody Uzi Seeper. Grim to the reaper. Lavender Medea. Indica Hania. Hit you on the beeper. Michael's poisonous. Hit you with a kiss. Drake and venom drip. Fang gripping her lip. Michael's poisonous. Hit you with a kiss. Drake and venom drip. Fang gripping her lip. Michael's poisonous. Hit you with a kiss. Drake and venom drip. Fang gripping her lip.